Right. So I got a squirrel. Just got home from work, saw that bastard up in a tree. Shot him with my 12 gauge. And I'm gonna show you how I fucking process squirrel around here. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna lean this up out of the way. Then we're gonna get to it. First thing I do is I get a little knife just like this, and I open it up in the leg. And you can kind of tell I shot it in the tree. It was up, coming up the tree, and I shot it up its belly. And I got its tail, so we'll see how well that goes for getting the tail off. Sometimes when you shoot it like that, you have a hard time getting the tail in one piece. I'm gonna show you the 2-stick method. You just kind of ride that knife right there. I ride it right to about there. And you take the other side, kind of see where I did it. Hold his foot right there, kind of like where your Achilles would be on a squirrel, and you're gonna try and get a good cut in there. Here's the thing, is you can just take your time. Now, if you have a flat surface and not a stump that I undercut, that is helpful. Of course, the time I'm doing it on video is when I'm having all these issues, trying to get into it. All right, there we go. All right. And we're just gonna, oh, and this one's got fleas, of course. And that's great. Here's what we're gonna do. Boom, boom. Turn it this way because that's the flattest spot. And then the way I do it is I try to cut around the butthole and stuff, because you're not really going to want that part of the pelt anyway. But before I do that, I try to open it up. It's okay to just take your time. Right, like just kind of separating the connection to connective tissue as much as you can. The reason I do this before I take off the feet, is it gives me something to hold on to. Because I find out sometimes if you cut off the feet first, it gets harder to get it all the way around. There's that gland. You don't really want to eat that, so either now or I normally use a pair of shears to cut the legs off. I normally take those off. Sometimes though, So using your knife, you can just use your finger. Yeah, let's see. Got it right there. Ooh, I shot him in this back leg, huh? It's alright. I'm gonna use them for jerky anyway. I think you can hear my neighbor moving. He moves out next month. Alright. Take that right there. So that leg's free. And just to avoid getting any extra hair on the meat that we don't want. Right. Oh, come on, cheers. Boom. And another foot to the feet stool. Alright. And we're gonna wash this off later, so don't worry about a little hair here and there. But you try and do your best. Yeah, see. This guy got shot up. Alright. Alrighty, and then let's do this other side. Let me grab the hair right again. And this just cut right in there. Let me see. Yeah, because when I first started squirrel hunting, I didn't really know how to do that. I watched a few videos, and it's one of those things you just, the more you do it, the better you get. Alright, let's grab that. Alright, let's put that down for a second. Alright. I don't know if you noticed on the other one, I try to peel the ankle back a little bit. When I do this, I cut it right above the ankle. Alright, and then the next cut I try and do is boom. Another foot on the foot stump. And then let's keep going. Alright. So, you may have noticed I didn't cut that out yet. There is a reason. I do it right. Now I just try to get my finger around the back side on both sides if I can. Alright. Yeah, and this one got shot up in the back. It's got a nice pretty coat though. Alright, and there we go. And we're free. So I can get a finger around both sides. What I do, grab the front legs like that. Pull. And you'll find sometimes you gotta do that maneuver. Use your thumb. So you got one finger hooked, and you use your thumb to kind of move it around. Then you do the other side. And this is just to set you up for the next trick, which is once you get this free, it's free as much as you can, right? Is I don't know if you remember. Oh, pooped a little. Gross. I'll lay it back down. We're gonna try not to touch the poop. Let me see if I can just get under there. Right, let me see. Man, doing this on camera is harder than it looks. Here, we're gonna get a piece of wood just to make our lives easier. Get that poop off of here, so we're not having to fuck with the poop. All right, ADHD moment. All right, let's get that gland out, which it looks like I might have hit it with the shotgun, which is okay. It's all gonna get turned into squirky anyway. And while I'm at it, let me see if I can find this side. Weird. That's the problem. This tendon right here is still attached. All right, let me see. See if I can, yeah, see, so that's the tail there. Switch it over to the other side. And the reason I do this way is I like to keep the pelts for the squirrels I get. Let me see, let me get that knife. So now we've cut that loose. This section right here. What I do at this point is I start kind of working my way on the tail with the hope that I can get a good bit worked up. Yeah, see. Oh, and look, you can already tell some BBs are in there. All right. Something else we can do right now, because we got the meat, get off there, tick, is we'll grab our trusty shears. This is just how I do it. We shoot a lot of squirrels around here, so speed is more important to me than just straight up harvest. So we try to use as much of the squirrels as we can, but we got to be practical, right? So I'll normally just pop the legs off like that. Because I figure none of it's going to go to waste anyway, because throw it in the woods and something will make a dinner out of that. All right. gonna do this. Just be gentle. Ooh, and we're good. So, and then the next part is you hold it on one side like this. You're just gonna kind of go around town and just pull down. It doesn't have to be fast. Sometimes you'll need a knife, sometimes you won't. It kind of just depends on the squirrel. Sometimes you'll have to do that little maneuver. I always find it better to use the knife as little as possible on these. Just reduces your chance of puncturing the pelt any more than it already has on the 12 gauge, right? And now it's starting to get to the point where I can grab the body and just gently pull. And you'll get little bits of lead like that. You can just flick those out. Like I said, it was running up the tree when I shot it. Let's see. So now we got it here. It's a good thing that I can show you. A lot of times the brisket stays attached. So the best thing I've found is just a cut, like I'm doing right there. And it's honestly a good piece of meat too. You know, if I was doing this purely for meat, I don't know if I'd cut it the same way, but I got into tannin hides, I guess last year, and you know, so now it became a little more important that it turns out right, you know. And part of that is just taking your time. There's like a million different ways to do it, but the gist is you just gotta take your time and go slow. And you know, I used to shoot like 12, 15 squirrels, you know, in a week. And I think when you're limiting out multiple days in a row, or like when we'd have like a hunting party, I just find it harder, or you're more likely to try and rush it. But lately I've been just like, whenever I get home from work, I'll go out and pop one. And oh, by the way, I'm using my finger to get this arm ready to come out. And here's a trick I learned with the arm, right? Hands here, meets there, cut there, and then you're gonna cut when it's done on the pelt. All right. And then that kind of gives you, as weird as it sounds, like a little area to, like, kind of like, I don't know how to explain it, like you're using the hand to give you a grip on the skin. Which is squirrel. I think this is an old mama, because she's got a really thick pellet, it feels like, compared to what I'm used to here. Because it's like coming off really nice. I caught her up in the front arm too, huh? So at this point, we got the back legs off. You kind of hold it by the shoulder. And you just pull ever so slowly. If the neck, see how it's the skin, the meat's starting to separate? Take your knife and just kind of follow it around. See, it'll lift with you. Oh, and I hear a squirrel barking over there. And this is like where the ear is, you can tell. It's got all that cartilage in there. And you just kind of use the tip of your knife and you're just kind of going slow. You don't want to go too fast. And it helps if you try and stay as even as you can. I generally go back and forth, back and forth. Because there's a lot of videos on guys doing this, and I'm not saying this is the fastest technique, it definitely isn't. This is just the one that I found that works for me. And you kind of press on the face right there, like I guess what would be the nose. Oh man, perfect shot right there in the base of the skull. Oh yeah, it looks like, I don't know how that went through. Maybe it just knocked him out. You can see. Cutting one ear. And the best thing about this is Lindsay is at the grocery store and she don't really like to see this anyway. Now that's weird. The ear should not have flipped like that. So we're going to be real careful. See, I could have cut closer to the base of the ear on that side. It's okay. That's crazy. Seeing the eye hole. All right, let's... some sort of gland. So we're getting real close to the eyes. And this is hard not to mess up. I've messed it up many a times. See if I can do this side. You're just going to kind of take your time. And there it is. Now that is not exactly what I wanted, but that's okay. I'm trying to get a bunch of them that I can hang up on my, on the wall next to my fireplace. So it doesn't gotta be perfect, but yeah, I kind of boogered that one up. See how you really can do a lot with just your finger. Yeah, see, maybe I should have done more of that. Let me see if I can get that knife in there. We'll see how it turns out when it's all said and done. Let's see. So now all we got is the nose. You just want to kind of go slow and pull. Take your time. Leave the meat on the squirrel. And there you go. It'll come off. Just go slow. Alright. See if it'll come off in one. Boom. So there you go. That's how I do it. And the last step is when I flip it back out. Here, let me just sit this down. Not too worried about it. Let me cut these leg sections off and these briskets. So I normally don't get much of the brisket just because it's I normally shoot them in the front, not in the back, like in their upper torso area. So I try to, because you know, this is a good sized squirrel. Take it, you kind of just follow that line as much as you can. You just follow around the back. All right. See if I can. So all that's holding it on right now is this muscle. See if I can get it. Oh, it didn't want to go. Here. Let me see if I can disconnect this piece right there. I'm sure someone will say, oh, you gotta be so careful with that knife. It's like, dude, I do this all the time. Alright. There's another good section. Let's get this last one. Beauty of this too is when you, oh, what kind of gland is that? See if I can get that out. Okay, and flick. I'll have to check that other one when I get inside. Make sure. Here, let's see. Maybe using my fingers is going to be better for this. Yeah, there we go. Oh, there we go. That's kind of a neat idea. The reason I kind of do it this way is it's just the best way I've found. You don't gotta be real forceful with that knife, you just kind of let it work. Alright. Alright, boom. There's that. And then, can we get these little back straps out of there? I think we could. Now you might be wondering, why don't you open it up? I don't need to. Like I said, I shoot so many frickin' squirrels. Oh no, I didn't mean to do that. Why don't you open it up? Opens it up. Let me see if I can. Yep. I did not mean to do that. Oh, throw that piece of meat down there. Here. Got two. Oh, that stinks. Yeah. You know what? I think the coyotes can have the rest of that one. Gut shot. I shouldn't even say coyotes. Vultures do a pretty good job on these two. And something else will eat it. Alright. Now the last step we gotta do is we're gonna flip it inside out, back the way it was. We're gonna pull it all the way through. And look at how good that, well, eye's a little jacked up on that side. But last thing we're gonna do, boom, pop that arm out, pop that arm out, find out where it is, where it turns over. We're gonna yeet. We're gonna grab this other arm, do the same thing. And what I do is I'll do these in a big batch. Once I get enough of them together. Wait, is that? Yeah, I think that ear's inside out. Boom, there you go. So, once I get enough of them, and it's a pretty gray squirrel. Once I get enough of them like this, well, I freeze these and then I'll tan them all in one big batch. I'll bark tan them. That's what I normally do. One thing I would say is if you can, figure out where the shots went. Which it doesn't look like it wants to come out. That's okay. Worry about that when I'm tanning it. It's easier once you get the membrane off, but yeah, there you go. And I'll normally store them inside out. The reason for that being is I want to protect the pelts as much as I can, right? And I don't want, slippage or anything, like from touching it too harsh. So it's better just to keep it like that for the time being. I just roll it up. put it in a little Ziploc bag. That's it.